postpartum depression and anxiety. It's actually more common than you probably think it is. Maybe you yourself have struggled with it, or maybe you know someone who struggled with it, or in the future you might possibly struggle with it. The CDC today says that on average about 20% of women struggle with postpartum depression and anxiety. I'm someone that struggled with it myself, and I still kind of continue to carry some of those characteristics over, even though I am now 6 months postpartum. You have your baby, they're beautiful, you love being a new mom, you're soaking in the sweet smell of them, but there's still something off. Okay, first of all, you know how much of a change your body goes through just being pregnant. So you can only imagine how much your body has to change to go from postpartum, you know, back to normal. So you have hormones everywhere and you're just an emotional wreck. On top of that, you have less time to yourself and not really that much time for like extracurricular activities, especially if you are breastfeeding, because you will soon learn that your baby is attached to you all the time. I asked my subscribers on Facebook to kind of give me some of their factors that contributed to their postpartum depression, and I wanted to share some of those. Lack of sleep. Obviously, you're not going to be getting your 8 to 9 hours or whatever you used to. You're not going to get that anymore. You may in a few more months, or you may not. But yeah, that's in the beginning, that's kind of gone. And so you're kind of in zombie mode, you know, and you're living day to day, just drinking coffee to get by. Welcome to mommyhood. I mean, really. You may have lack of help or support. Say like you don't have a significant other, or your family's not close by. Those are definitely things that can contribute. I was really blessed with, you know, a husband, obviously, but David was out of work right when I had her. So he was at the house with me all the time. And so she kind of was able to be around both of us, and I was able to get some help that way. Still, I was separated by my immediate family by 1,600 miles. And so that was really rough and challenging for me because I just wanted my mom there and she wasn't nearby. Now I live near her, which is a lot better, obviously, but I struggled with that in the beginning. Your relationships change with your friends, with your husbands, with everyone. I mean, your baby starts to become your #1 priority. And you know, in my belief of marriage, I believe that your spouse comes first and then your kids. But that's really hard to accomplish when you just had a baby and they literally need your every second. They need to be fed, they need to be changed, they need to be held. And you kind of start to lose that like spark that you had in the beginning when you were first married, or when you were married before kids. It's natural and it happens. And that's something you gotta like work through with all the changes that happen. I think the biggest one that a lot of women have as a factor of their postpartum depression is body weight issues. I mean, your body changes once you have a baby. It's not the same. And also it takes much longer for most women to get back into shape, even with working out and eating healthy. Also, your body's not really yours anymore because your baby is like attached almost all the time in the beginning. So it really feels like this is your only purpose in life. This is your only thing that you have going for you. And that's not how it is. It's just the first few months and it will pass, but it's hard. It's hard work. The last thing I have for a factor that contributes is like a traumatic birth experience. Luckily mine wasn't traumatic, but there's many of you that have experienced traumatic births, and that must be really rough. You want your birth to be remembered as something, you know, blissful and happy, and you come home from the hospital and it didn't go the way you wanted to, or you were abused in some way by the nurses, or you were told that your birth plan couldn't work out, which did happen to me, but that's another story. But I don't feel like, you know, mine was traumatic or anything like that. But this is a really common thing, the whole traumatic birth experience. And so when you have all of those things together, I mean, it's not hard to fall into a postpartum depression. The thing to realize and accept is that this is not forever, and you need to know that your depression doesn't define you. Your depression isn't who you are. It's a season of your life, and there are things that will be able to help you get through your depression. These are some things that have helped me. Exercise. I think that's a huge one, because when you exercise, you get all those endorphins flowing, good endorphins, happy endorphins, and on top of that, it also helps with your body image and your self-esteem. I'm just now realizing this as I'm starting to get back into exercising, finally, 6 months postpartum. I'm a little late, but whatever. Another thing that I think really has helped me is praying. And you know, as a Christian, there's 2 Bible verses that I have really been meditating on to try to navigate through the depression, or to just try to, you know, find myself again. I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's just going from that person that you used to be before you had that baby. Because let's face it, you'll probably never be the same person because the child changes you for the better. But it is hard when you want to get back to your old hobbies and your old life and you just want to feel like you again. The two verses that have really helped me are Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. That helped me because my depression was more like an anxiety. My postpartum depression was more of anxiety. It was a anxiety where I didn't even want to leave the house sometimes because I was like afraid something would happen, or I was just afraid to see someone I knew and have to have a social interaction with them. It sounds crazy, but when you're in that position, I mean, that stuff happens. I was also anxious about the future, and I was anxious about finances because we both didn't have jobs. And so that verse really spoke to me. It just said, Shaylee, relax, enjoy being a mother. Let me worry about the bigger stuff and just trust in me, which has to do with the second verse, which is Psalms 37:5. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. And he has done that for my family continuously, and in the families that surround me that put their trust in him. I see it every day. You don't have to be a Christian, but it's got to be hard to go through something in life without having faith that things are going to get better. Things will get better. Everyone always told me that things wouldn't get better, but they did. Another thing is to find support groups. For me, the support group was YouTube. It was you guys. I come on here and I would talk and you guys would write your comments, or I'd go on Facebook and ask a question and everyone floods with answers. I mean, I just did it yesterday. So my support group is really an online community, but sometimes I really do need that face-to-face interaction. And I do have a few friends for that are in a similar place in life as me. I think that's important too, because if you're in your early 20s like me, most people your age are still partying and, you know, kind of living the whole like college lifestyle and doing whatever they want. And so it was important for me to find someone who was married and who has a baby like me, so I could be able to relate with them and, you know, be able to share our lives together. Another thing is to get a babysitter. I think in the first few like weeks, months even, I really felt like my sole responsibility was to feed Eden 24/7, and if I did not do that, I was the worst mother in the entire world. She could have lived without me for an hour. She really could have. But for me, I couldn't even like accept that fact, and I couldn't even think about that. And I was not relaxed, you know, and I needed to relax more and kind of tone it down. But as a first-time mom, I think it was kind of just a natural reaction. But get a babysitter, go out with friends, go do something for yourself. There's nothing wrong with taking a few hours for yourself. Don't feel guilty about it. You need it. And the last thing is find an outlet for your emotions and communicate how you feel. Don't keep everything inside. You know, tell your husband or your boyfriend or whoever you love that's around you every day. Tell them how you're feeling. Tell them, I'm sad today. You know, tell them I'm feeling this way. I'm aggravated. I'm irritated. I'm whatever. Just communicate that. And then find that outlet, that one place where you feel like you can be yourself without being judged. For some of you that might be writing. For some of you it might be playing music, or maybe it's working out, or etc., etc. Like I said, for me it was kind of YouTube, and this is kind of my creative outlet, and this has really helped me get through what I'm going through, especially when I read comments and I see other people's stories of going through the same thing. You are not alone in struggling with postpartum depression or anxiety. You are not alone at all. It's completely natural. Like I said, your hormones are all over the place, but know that this is not the end of the world and you will find a way out. And if it does get to the place where you feel like you want to hurt yourself or your baby, you need to find a doctor and talk to them as soon as possible. It got really dark in this room. As always, thanks for watching, and please leave your experiences with your postpartum depression or how you overcame below. I would love to hear those stories, and I will see you next time. Bye.